If you don't have a firm idea of what this will do, if you're not absolutely convinced this is going to be good for the state of Florida, then the default is no. You should never vote for one of these things if you're not sure about what's going to happen.
Governor DeSantis and other state officials have been holding events across the state, encouraging voters to reject the two amendments.
Meanwhile, the state has also been airing and campaigning on both issues. But the question tonight, are those ads public service or propaganda? Claims are mounting the DeSantis administration is misusing taxpayer money to influence voters.
And tonight we are getting perspective from a political communications expert who calls the state's actions not just unprecedented, but dangerous. Here's investigative reporter Katie LeGrome.
With less than 1 week before Election Day and early voting in Florida already underway, the DeSantis administration isn't slowing down from letting Floridians know exactly what it thinks about legalizing marijuana.
DUI crashes increase in states with legalized marijuana.
And the argument to expand abortion rights here.
Lately, you've probably heard a lot of misinformation about our abortion laws.
The two issues are among high-stake ballot questions Florida voters are in the midst of deciding. And these ads are just a few of the state-sponsored, taxpayer-funded moves being played at the same time.
I lost my 19-year-old son, Johnny, to suicide from marijuana-induced psychosis.
It makes for an election season.
My first question is this normal?
The likes of which we've never seen before in the Sunshine State, explains USF Political Communications Associate Professor Josh Scacco.
When you see, for instance, advertisements that are being sponsored by state government that are talking about the messages that are in the campaign environment and then stop right before they say vote for or against, that's where you're starting to see some really unique territory that we're in. And that's where state government finds itself. It has put itself in this territory that really governments try not to be in.
If approved by at least 60% of voters, Amendment 4 would protect abortion rights in Florida until viability, about 24 weeks. Amendment 3 would legalize recreational marijuana use for adults.
What about our playgrounds?
While it's not unusual to see Governor DeSantis or his wife campaign on issues,
Your default when they are proposing constitutional amendments should be no.
what is new, nonpartisan government agencies, including Florida's Department of Education, Transportation, DCF, and the Department of Health, all spending time and your money to get in on the political action, too. According to the state's contract database, since last month, state agencies have spent upwards of tens of millions of dollars on media and public information campaigns.
Marijuana is dangerous if it gets into the wrong hands,
which include these state-sponsored ads, clearly aimed at weakening support for both amendments. The governor calls the ads public service.
It's not electioneering. It's things that can absolutely be done through these public service announcements, and I'm glad they're doing it.
But it's not just commercials. Agency officials are also being used to spread the governor's message while working on the clock. From top cops.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Grady Jack.
I'm Sheriff TK Water.
To the state's top doc, who made the rounds with Casey DeSantis last week against legalizing marijuana, then told our Forrest Saunders his argument is a spiritual and emotional one.
Drugs diminish our ability to be all that we can be, to be representations of God's love, God's light, God's wisdom.
We still live in a democracy.
This Republican senator in favor of legalizing marijuana says the state is going too far, using money that should be spent on opioid awareness to campaign against marijuana.
No matter where you stand on these issues, we shouldn't be spending money on propaganda one way or the other.
The governor's chief of staff defending the moves.
Data is showing more and more marijuana is leading to more and more car accidents and dangers for kids. On the abortion side, the PSAs that are out there, they're not advocating about the amendment one way or another. They don't mention the amendment. What they are talking about is what's in Florida's law.
While the legal and moral argument over the state's messaging strategy has yet to be fully determined and understood, what's clear is a government using public money to blur the lines between politics and public service.
Government represents everyone who voted for them and who voted against them. Electoral campaigns are different. And mixing those two things together has the potential to really undermine sort of these foundational forces in democracy that are designed to keep these two things separate.
I'm my team investigator Katie LeGrone, taking action for you.